Is this thing on, or did I mute myself again? No, I did not. I actually remembered to have my mic on this time. Welcome back to the BFC, where we go into the trenches of the trading world. How you guys doing? I don't know about you, but I am very, very excited for the week ahead. But before we go any further, give us that like and subscribe, and we're going to keep bringing the first-hand due diligence. DD from the source. That's what we do. All right. So also, listen, I know many of you want me to address the long bully stick rumor that I will apparently be sharing who my mystery interview is at the end of the show. Well, stick around to find out. Okay, let's get back into it. For his third round on the BFC, CEO of Branded Legacy ticker BLEG, Mr. David Oswald. Let's bring him in. Dave, welcome back to the BFC. How you doing?
Doing great, Eric. Glad to be here. How you doing?
Great, great. It's been a beautiful day up here in Buffalo, and I like that you're actually in the lab today. That's pretty cool.
Happy to kind of unveil part of our new space here. Yeah, fully armed and operational, you know?
Yeah, right on. And your most recent PR, you guys talked about Branded Legacy Incorporated invites shareholders to celebrate milestones at an open house and announces share buyback and commitment to authorize share count. So, by the way, this is the date and time for that. So,
right.
Screenshot that, guys. So
yeah, please RSVP. We're hoping to get as many people out there as we can. You know what I mean? We'd like to roll out the red carpet for our investors and just people who are interested in the company. Anybody's welcome to come. We're gonna have a whole day of it. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
So now I know you guys have, and I'm going to just give you the floor in a second. So you are talking about share repurchasing, share buybacks. And I know you guys have taken a lot of slack for selling of shares going on lately. So I'm just going to let you open up and open the floor and talk about whatever you want to talk about. I have a couple of follow-up questions for you, but we are looking forward to this update.
Sure. Well, do you want to hear about the buyback, or what do we want to talk
let's
about?
Start with the buyback first. Yeah.
All right. We've been seeing the same kind of stuff that everybody else is seeing. We had a mystery market maker come in over the last week or so and just kind of putting ridiculous asks up. So we felt like this was probably the best way to deal with that type of interference. You know what I mean? We want progress here, and we're going to do whatever it takes to get it. So, we felt like that was the best, most proactive way to get involved and handle that situation, keep our structure tight and keep our stock, looking good to investors.
And you guys have done it before. You guys canceled out shares before. So, that following you guys, I know that you will put your money where your mouth is. And I know that you're sincere when you make that statement.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to say that, like, right back from the very first time I've been on your show, and the things that my team and I were talking about, and it was hopes and dreams back then, but it's a reality now, and we've stuck to that this entire time. You know what I mean? We have no common shares. The conversions that we've had to make, like from preferred series to common, had to happen. I stopped the ones I could. I bought back shares when I could. We've retired shares when we can. We are keeping the authorized where it is. We're not going to do any reverse splits. We are going to stick to our guns here. And, you heard it here first. We're going to do what we said we did. And we're going to keep growing the company. We're going to keep building revenue. We're going to keep getting these contracts, and we're going to keep on don't stopping,
Yeah, no, you guys have been doing a really good job. The communication has been great. But you know what? And this is the thing, and I'll ask you this too. You're always going to have issues, especially when you merge into a shell, or you obtain a ticker where people from 2 years ago may have shares that convert, and so and that's part of the due diligence process. That something might have been missed or whatever, but that happens all the time. Shares convert all the time. So and there's friendly sellers, and then there's people that like to put up huge ask walls. You know what I mean? So
yeah. We also this was a thing that we discussed months ago when I was engaged in the buyback of D, and there were people who held out. And it's important to note, that, these folks held out because they know that our stock is going to be worth a lot more in the future, and they would rather make that extra money. You know what I mean? And also, I just want to point out that, we talked about all of this, and it's just kind of funny seeing the short memories that some of these folks have. And I just wanted to give a shout out. One of my Twitter guys, OTC Pegasus, was like the only person that was like, why is everybody freaking out about this? He literally told us all about this like 3 months ago, right down to the number of shares and everything. And I just want to say that I appreciate seeing somebody out there that was actually listening and paying attention to what we've been talking about.
There is a neuroticism, especially on Twitter, when it comes to shares, conversions, and we've seen it be really bad. We've seen friendly sellers. We've seen all kinds of things to happen. So people understand.
It's those short memories. You know what I mean? I'm still the guy who retired 2.3 billion shares. You know what I mean? And I'm getting hounded for letting a couple 100,000 shares convert, when we could be talking about my 2.3 billion shares that would no longer be restricted. You know what I mean? Right now. And it's just, they forget no good deed goes unpunished. But I know there are some folks out there that are paying attention, and they see this company for what it is. So, I know we're going to get there eventually.
Yeah, right on. So I also want to talk a little bit about your experience, because I'm going to get to the product in a second. But so far in your experience, like, you were never a trader. You were never doing all this stuff. You're a scientist guy. You know what I mean? So what have you learned so far in this process? I've been following you guys for about more than half a year now.
Everything is very sensitive when we're dealing with the stock itself. It's a very different world, and it's funny, I do have to go between these two worlds, and I see these folks out there that, I've learned a lot from my interaction with shareholders in terms of like, hey, your chart's looking like this, like that kind of might mean these things. Yeah, you maybe should adapt this or that or whatever. And I've been kind of blown away by, the detail and accuracy of what a lot of these folks have been saying. And I'm here to learn. And I very much appreciate that. But then at the same time, some of those same people have no idea about the rest of running a business. Like I've had awesome suggestions about things like PRs and charts and how to interact on Twitter that were great. And then the same people like, how come you don't post your profit margins? And like, other suggestions that are just absolutely ridiculous and would destroy my ability to negotiate with clients and customers and stuff like that. And it's funny to me. But it's good to learn both ends of that. And I guess I've come a long way in my understanding of like the way the charts read and some of the other indicators outside of just share price, volume, et cetera,
Yeah, no, right on. And, life is a learning experience. And that's one thing doing what I'm doing here. I'm telling you, there's times I bite my tongue and don't use my thumb and don't respond to anybody, because it's the best way to go, especially when you tend to be, when you're influencing the market and stuff like that, which is not what I'm trying to do. By the way, I guess this is not financial advice. That's what naturally happens. You say, I really like the stock, somebody buys it, it goes down, and all of a sudden I'm the world's worst person. But happens. Yeah, that happens.
I'm sure you get a lot of that. Hey, why are you controlling these stocks bad? Right?
Yeah, right.
Make them go up. Come on.
Oh yeah, it's pretty funny. But it's a nice learning experience for me. Being in this as well. I've learned a lot over the last couple of years in regards to private placements and convertibles and all this stuff. And I think if anybody wants to get wise, learn how to read a filing. I'm still learning things in filings, and so that's pretty cool. I want to talk a little bit about what you guys are doing product wise. It seems lately that you guys are really going towards the athletic industry, and these are some of the products that these compressions, these CBD charge compressions. What can you tell us about this stuff? And then you got the CBD cream. You got the compressions. Tell us what's going on here.
So, it's one of the many areas where we've kind of really been expanding into. We have worked with a lot of professional athletes and such in the past and currently. And, when we see a niche there, a demand to be filled, that we have the capability to slide into, we're going to do that. Another example is we're making some other skincare products now that don't even have any cannabinoids or CBD or anything in them at all. And we come across, customer, we're not going to be particular about, we only make CBD products, because we don't only make CBD products. We make all kinds of products. We can make soap, we can make lotion, we're probably going to be making shampoo at some point here. So, anytime a potential client comes to us with an idea for a white label, that's usually what gets us on it. And then, we expand our product line from there. That's kind of how it went with the Kava vapes as well. I think that's going to be huge coming up soon as these D8 regulations and other cannabinoid regulations push vapes and stuff off of shelves. We're going to be able to slide right in,
Do you think?
Go ahead.
No. Do you see a lot happening? And I do want to talk about your latest partnership that you have going on, or acquisition. Acquisition, correct?
If you're talking about Sycamore, yeah.
Yes, I want to hear more about Sycamore. But I just lost my question. Where the hell did it go? It's gone. It's gone. But go ahead, continue on with what you were going to say.
Well, no, I mean, I was just going to point out, we got a couple of other products in the line there. We've got these game day relief gummies that have a microdose of nanized THC with a larger dose of CBD. And I'm sure maybe some of your listeners remember me explaining before how we've used carriers in our non-THC products. In this particular product, we're letting the THC do the work because it is kind of for folks who have just sort of spent themselves and it's time to go to sleep. It's time to get a little bit of extra pain relief in there. So we're letting the THC do the work there. And we've got several brands now in-house that are doing THC gummies of various kinds. So Delta 8, Delta 9, THC blends, et cetera. So, we're not just sticking to the medicinal stuff. We are absolutely still doing that. We've started clinical trials on some mitragynine stuff for pain relief. All the things that we laid out there are lofty goals when we took over. We're trying to knock them down, but we are also expanding into the recreational realm wherever regulation will allow us to do so. Sorry if you guys heard that was our massive AC system kicking on.
I was going to say, I hope that wasn't one of your distillate machines exploding.
Let me tell you how bad everybody freaks out when you're like doing something with this delicate glassware and that thing kicks on. Oh my God. It's funny, but it's not funny.
No. So in regards to the recreational realm, I mean, Congress is thinking about revisiting, legalization. I mean, what are your thoughts on that going, I mean, the possibilities there.
We've been in this fight for a long time. Almost everybody in my company has been proponent of cannabis legalization for decades, so we obviously all want to see that happen, and we are ready to roll with it either way. So, we've got plans on deck for stricter regulation that would, hinder some of our products. We also have plans on the books for if they take the brakes off. We're looking at producing biomass of several different kinds because we can already extract and refine in-house. We've already signed a white label deal where we're using some of our connections with biomass suppliers for whole flower to be sold recreationally, stuff like that. We're geared up, coiled. Spring is coiled everywhere it can be. When a new opportunity opens up, we're gonna go as hard as we can.
Yeah, and one of my follow-ups was going to be, are you already networking for partnerships now and contracts now?
We came with those connections. Like I said, everybody on my team, we've been in this industry 20 years, before it was cool. And so we have the connections that come along with that. I mean, that's why I'm here talking to you right now. That's why I run this company, because I helped grow this industry from nothing. And we're going to utilize every connection we have, everybody that out there that we've worked with in the past that things went well with, all the people that have been seeking us out. Like, hey, you guys look like you're doing some cool stuff. I've got a novel SOP for XYZ alkaloid. Can I come play with you guys? And we're here for it too, because with all the expansion we've been doing and everything we are hiring. So, hey, shout out to anybody out there with lab experience. If you got a degree in biology or chemistry, come talk to me.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And you guys got the LinkedIn where you'll post that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. We have a comment here from Paul McKinney Art. Pay me some. Keep doing what you're doing, Dave. Build those contracts and build shareholders' confidence.
Right on.
Guys, we're here for a live first-hand due diligence. So throw a question in the chat for Mr. David Oswald, CEO of BLEG, branded legacy. Now, I actually I've used your product. All right. The
Yeah.
anxiety. And for those that don't know, I have an hour-long commute to work. And I get anxiety. I get these wave of panic attacks. Now I'm not walking around like a maniac, but every now and then on that long drive, that long commute, sometimes the stress of the day just gets to you. And I'm telling you right now, this formula does work, and it's sort of like the alternative to popping a Xanax or some kind of something that you need to calm your nerves. And the product works. And thank you for sending me this.
I'm
You
really
sent me a
glad.
couple of them.
Yeah, I'm really glad to hear that. Like, honestly, it never gets old. Like, we love to see people have those eureka moments. Like, they're struggling with a migraine. They take our migraine product in 5 minutes. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe this, And like, I seek it out just in my personal life. You know what I mean? Not like even from a sales standpoint. I catch somebody having a migraine. I'm just like, wait, I got you covered. All my kids, friends, parents, and everybody, they all know to come see me if they got a headache or some anxiety or whatnot.
Well, a lot of natural remedies have been swept under the rug, and I think that sometimes people don't want to look for a natural solution to things. Like for me, I mentioned Xanax. Like I wouldn't want to take that regularly because nor I wouldn't be able to function.
It takes you out of the game.
It's like, oh yeah, it's emergency only. I need something to hone in focus and then recalibrate me. Like I do have some of your migraine solution. I haven't needed it yet. Maybe by the end of this 2024 market, but we're looking all right so far. I mean, it looks like we're bouncing, and it looks like cannabis, the industry is going to get a real big bounce soon. I mean, so just guys, watch out. And in my opinion, like we talk about, when do you buy a stock? And like I said, this is not financial advice. When to buy a stock? Buy them when they're beaten down. Buy them when the markets are pulled back. That's where people get rich. Is when I'm not saying you're going to get rich. He told me. Buffalo told me. But no, it's the truth. So yes, thank you for setting this. And I did try the evening one. The sleep is great.
Yeah. Oh man, I live by that. I have a real hard time staying asleep. And I keep a vape. I use the tincture before I go to bed, and then I keep the vape on hand. So like when one of my dogs or children wake me up in the middle of the night, which is every night, I can hit that vape real quick and kind of get back to sleep, so I can stay in the game. When morning time comes.
Absolutely. Wayne, we'll give it a try. I'm a disabled vet, and sometimes things get overwhelming. So definitely try it out.
That's kind of who we made it for. and a lot of who we've been testing it on. So get in there and give us your feedback. We'd love to hear it. And we're really excited about the kava enhanced versions of these coming out soon. Oh my gosh. So the one you've got, I specifically sent you that one because it is non-intoxicating, but sometimes maybe it's the end of the day when you're having one of these issues and a little bit of intoxication's okay. Try the kava enhanced ones. Oh man, I'm telling you, when these hit the streets, the sales are going to be insane. Everybody that tries them loves them. I can't wait to get them out there into everybody's hands. I see a little
exciting. Yeah, Andrew has a couple questions.
Kava contracts. Yeah. A lot of people have been crazy impatient about this, and I get it. Maybe I used wrong terminology. I remember when I first mentioned the kava contracts, I think it was 3 days later that somebody was already like, why is this taking so long? All I could say is, these contracts take months to put together regularly. They're big, high volume. These companies don't want to sign a deal for tons of a thing and it not be perfect. But we have been making a lot of progress on that. As you can see, we've got the machinery up and running. So we're sending COAs out to land the big one. And in the meantime, we've been drumming up a bunch of smaller ones. So, it is going to be big. It's going to be a huge source of revenue for the company. We're in it. There are, the Kava Vape white label deals already signed. We're making the product for it, et cetera. We're lining up the extraction deals. We're lining up the paste deals that can be filled pretty much right away. And we're working on the big nanized one, which is the more complicated and also way, way bigger deal.
Yeah, right on. Andrew is asking some good questions here. Are you looking to have your products on Amazon?
Okay, so that gets tricky, but there are some products that we are making right now. They are going to be, not our in-house brands. These are white label products or whatever, but they are being distributed on Amazon, and we have some more that we will be distributing on there. We have a a tattoo aftercare cream that we completely formulated from scratch in-house. That's amazing. I think is going to do really well. I mean, I know it's going to do really well because it's got a lot of star power behind it and stuff. We'll be announcing the details on that coming up soon. That's going to be on Amazon. That's going to be probably in, stores like Walmart, stuff like that. And we have got another one that is pretty much wrapped up. We'll probably be announcing this deal as well within another week or two. It was a pre-existing product that we had to work out the specifics on and create our own formulation for that. The company's doing several million a year in sales on Amazon and other websites like that and in stores. And basically, the arrangement we're making with them is to take over all of their production. So, that's just another couple of mil of throughput, we're just going to keep lining those up and keep knocking them down.
Yeah. And it's a lot to go through, especially when you're in the industry you are at, to be able to get your products on Amazon, because Amazon supplies to all 50 states. So that's why you got to make sure that the products are available to be sold in all 50 states.
That's the tricky bit. Obviously that's gonna be focusing primarily on our products that don't contain cannabinoids.
Yeah. Well, I think that's great. I think it's going to make some headway here. And you already are. You're establishing your network.
We're doing it.
Andrew's blown up the questions, but that's why we're here. This is what we do. A couple more questions from Andrew. Are you thinking of using organic products?
Yeah, when it suits the client. So some of you may remember our Mary J Pharmaceuticals, certified organic, right? So when we have a producer of organic biomass that wants a fully certified organic product that they can say was farm to table from their place, we can get it done with Mary J. That's not all the time though. A lot of these guys, there's a lot of things that go into that. Makes it more difficult, more expensive to produce.
Yeah, I was going to say, how much does it cost to get that certified organic label?
Oh, geez, I couldn't remember. It's not crazy expensive to get the certification. It's more about diligence. It's less a monetary cost and more of like a time and effort cost, which still has monetary, consequences. But it's very much regulatory hurdles that you have to stay on top of to have that certification. But at the end of the day, all of your inputs that you're buying have to be certified organic. Any certified organic input is going to be more expensive. So a lot of people come to us asking for a certified organic product. And when we get through the process with them, then they kind of, okay, maybe we don't need it to be organic, and that honestly, as an environmentalist, I'm not happy about that. I wish it was the other way around. I'd like to see a way for us to be, for the green option to also be the cost-effective option. So, we're working towards that.
Yeah, right on. All right. And lastly, now this one that you probably can't comment on, where do you see the share price near term, long term? Are you looking to uplist onto another exchange?
Okay. I mean, that's a tough one. I'll tell you where I'd like to see the share price go, which is up. And absolutely long term, we expect to uplist. Those are not immediate plans. We have obviously the necessary milestones all have to be achieved, and we are making a lot of progress towards that. So, we're going to get our revenue where it needs to be first, then we'll get our share price where it needs to be. And at that point, it'll be a no-brainer, and everybody will know it's happening. Obviously, we'll be announcing it and all that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. Excellent. Yeah. Very, very good question. All right. What is something that you want to leave shareholders with? Other than lots of money. I know what you guys are thinking.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I want to leave you guys with a bunch of equity that you can pass on to your kids, which is what I'm going to do. I just want to say, that's really what that's the thing right there. Like, this isn't a short-term thing for me. Like, this company is my baby. I'm going to grow it, and I fully expect to be passing equity in this company along to my daughters when they're grown. And I think that my team feels the same way. We're in this for the long haul. So, I think that makes it, that sets us apart a little bit, I think, from some of our competition around here. So, awesome. Yeah, we're here for a long time, not a good time.
Good. Hey, You're here for both. A good time and
I can't lie, we're having a lot of fun.
Good, as you should.
We all have small heart attacks when the share price dips, as I'm sure everybody else does. But the rest of the time, we're having a blast. We're doing what we set out to do. We're knocking goals down. We're building equity in the company. We're building revenue. We're firing on all cylinders. Like I don't think it could be going too much better for us right now.
Great. Well, congratulations on your success. I look forward to having you guys on, doing a virtual tour of that facility. And I hope you guys have a great time at your
Come on
open
down
house.
and do a real tour middle of next month, man.
You know what? I'd love to. I'd love to.
We'd be happy to have you.
This summer. Let's do it this summer.
All right.
There it is.
All right. Let's do it. Hey, thanks
Mr.
for having me on.
Thank
Always
you.
a pleasure.
All right. Now get this guy out of here. Goodbye. Get out. Always great to have Mr. Oswald on. Good stuff. Now, I was hoping to have Adam Thomas on to discuss the progress being made at TAA, ticker GRPS, but schedules didn't work out this time. Adam, you son of a gun. Way to leave us hanging. What's going on, bro? But no, he will be back on to give us an update. If you haven't seen it yet, we did do a whole product review. We did a whole video of TAA shrimp, and it was a great time. So I know I had lots of questions for him regarding funding, product contracts, name change filings, and all that stuff. But he's going to be on in the coming weeks, and he's a great guest, and I look forward to him sharing with all of us. And so, Rob, yeah, he just put in the link for that shrimp review. Guys, if you haven't checked it out, I had a great time with Wayward, and it's a great review, and it was a really, really good product. So, all right, let's keep this thing going. Next up, a familiar face to the BFC, one of my favorite NASDAQ AI companies, Ivda Solutions, ticker IVDA. I'm talking about none other than Mr. David Lee. Let's bring him in. Mr. David Lee, welcome back to the BFC.
Hi, Eric. How are you?
Good. How you doing? You're on the move and groove today.
I am. I just hopped into an Uber to head out to the airport.
Are you busy or something?
Yeah, I try to be and work hard at it, actually.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yeah, I'm glad that you're joining us for a little update right here. Most recently, you launched Level Now for efficient liquid storage management. Now, this is a big deal. Talk to us a little bit about that, and I wanted to get your take.
Eric, thanks for teeing this up. God, free advertising. I love it. Yes, this is Ivda innovation at its best. This was a solicitation from Sydney, Australia, through a partner that is involved in building drums, liquid drums, kind of like what the Blue Man Group out in Las Vegas bangs on for our entertainment, except they store oil. And their customer is now our customer, the oil company. The same company that has to put out these oil tanks where, when you and I don't know where you're at, whenever we take our car in to get an oil change at a Jiffy Lube or at some type of auto repair lube joint, car wash, they don't open up that quart of oil and dump it into our car. They actually have Pennzoil, Mobil, the brands, Castrol, and they pump it. It is these containers at these oil or auto repair stations, Eric, that need what we are selling as Level Now. Can you imagine, from initial solicitation of, hey guys, we have an issue, maybe you guys can help us, from idea to 3D printing and design to PC board building and wireless construction to a gateway to a customized, now patent pending sensor, all in less than 5 months, Eric, with now a customer buying first order 1,000 units for 1,000 oil containers. So,
and that's in Australia.
That's what it does.
Yeah. One of Australia's biggest
starts
oil
in Australia.
producers, correct?
Absolutely. 63 million barrels a year. That's how much they produce, and it's huge. We're going to have a follow-up announcement, Eric, on who it is after the initial deployments, and I think the world's going to like them. They sponsor a lot of cool stuff.
I got to say, I follow you, and I almost get overwhelmed following Ivda because you, like a lot of companies out there, but specifically you guys, you're always moving and grooving. You're always doing a bunch of different stuff. And I don't want to say this could be a cash cow, but this is a huge deal because these companies, not only do they make a lot of money, they're always looking to save a lot of money too. And these are the big companies that are also going to lead the green revolution when it's time. But that's why they're trying to captivate that market or capture that market. So, I mean, what are your thoughts? Actually, we had a question real quick from Thebes. Thebes, always good to have you on the show. Could you ask David, David Lee, how much money do they receive for each sale on Level Now? Also, is a one-time profit, or is it at least a kind of product? I'm having trouble deciphering that. Is this okay? So basically, is it like a subscription base, or is it going to be a one-time profit?
Good question, and right time to ask, and I'm happy to share. Retail MSRP on one of our sensors, particularly for this particular application, is $350 per unit. That's the per kit. And Ivda, and we charge retail $12 a month recurring revenue for services for a lifetime of the product. So do the math. 1,000 is not a lot. The world has a lot of these containers. We're talking one major city, 3-4 major cities, one country, and then starting to doing the math for just your neighborhood. There's a lot going on, guys, and we are extremely scalable. Think about the businesses and the innovation that you see as you follow Ivda. Every time we step foot into something, it is extremely scalable. And that's what scalable innovation means, right? We have very tangible products, tangible applications, and you do the math as it scales, we're going to do just fine.
Yeah. Well, I had a question regarding the actual the technology behind it. What exactly is, I know, because I probably sound like an idiot saying this, but like, what is it? Like, how is the solution going to actually help?
Well, remember, that's a big question. That's a loaded question when you ask about Ivda. But answering specific for Level Now, our new product, this solution, what makes it special is that it is a bolt-on to any existing fluid container without without requiring a dipstick, without requiring drilling, without requiring any type of retrofit to existing equipment. Because of our patent pending sensors, we are adoptable and adaptable to different size pipes, whether it's polymer, steel, etc. We're able to measure, of course, different pressure, different temperature. What does it take behind the scenes to understand all that? Artificial intelligence, right? We got to make sense of patterns. So at the end of the day, our core technology is what allows us to deploy so rapidly. Go ahead and build a sensor. You're not going to get the data that we produce or collect.
And that could give indicators, like you said, the patterns. And ultimately, I think it is going to be cost effective for the businesses to utilize this. And I could see how like they may do that. And then this is just me speaking. They may say, all right, after we're going to roll out a certain percentage of our barrels, we're going to roll out a certain percentage of our hardware into this type of AI unit. And so they could scale out and into something that's more efficient. So you could see this happening. And once it happens with one company or two companies and they're saving money and you could see the increase in revenue and the increase of profitability and product and quality of product. All right. I think you're going to see this overtake the industry, and you're going to see you're going to have a lot of business.
Very accurate. And Eric, you're right. What Ivda is doing right now with our AI is that we're bringing back the traditional manufacturing just in time concept in the world that is constantly moving in our retail world, right? You and I get our car washed. We're like, oh, you know what? I might as well get an oil change. It is at every single one of these oil change opportunities around the world that is buying or having the oil companies service them. Again, no matter what major name brand, when you see a big Pennzoil brand, that's because they have a contract with Pennzoil. It is Ivda who is supplying the intelligence for the Pennzoil of the world to when they have a truck roll to refill those containers. Instead of pumping and then going, oh, it's empty, and then going and opening up a quart that costs 10 times to dump into the car than the actual contract of the can pump itself, you can see it's just in time. Ivda will announce that, hey, you're 0.25% low. We put out to dispatch. The oil company dispatches the nearest truck via GPS because the truck will know that the container is located here at location A. Get it? This is how we do all this stuff. This is why it's $12 a month per container. You know, there's intelligence behind this, not just say, hey, your tank is low. So what?
Wayward has a question for you, and this is a good question. Can this type of technology work in silos?
Absolutely. Remember, sensor technology is adapted to liquid format, physical form factor. We can measure rice. We can count. Man, there's a lot. You got to check out another product, ViewMaster. There's a lot going on. Yep.
And he did
but no,
clarify,
we're scaling.
He did say dry. So you're talking about liquid products, dry products.
Dry products are the same.
Wow. So was that ViewMaster, did you say? ViewMaster.
ViewMaster leverages any existing video camera and can be taught to recognize anything on that video, including the logo on your hat, your sweater, the glasses that you're wearing, and any time that camera or the network of such cameras recognizes that same object, it either counts it, eliminates it, or says that it doesn't belong. Whatever you classify it or set the protocols for, we can train now in minutes.
And so you could
like
tap
the guitar, the brand guitar behind you. I can train the brand guitars. You can, because you're the expert. I'm not. But once you train our AI, anytime that guitar is seen again on the camera network, it's going to be identified.
Okay, so you could really utilize the system for any camera system.
That's what makes Ivda unique, guys. You're not buying. We're not here to hawk a bunch of hardware. This is why we're all over the world fast, because I don't need to ship anything. You already have all the equipment. Your equipment's working. I'm making it smarter. I'm making it do something for you. I'm counting the cards.
Wow. This is exciting stuff. All right.
Yes.
Well, you know what? You've been on the show, I think, 4 or 5 times now.
And thank you for that.
Yes. And you know what? I love having you on, but we introduced a new segment since the last time you've been on, and it's the fire round. And so you are now my second victim for the fire round. Rob, let's get this thing started.
Let's go.
Now, this is what we're going to do, all right? You have 2 minutes to answer these 10 questions, and if you make it to the bonus, I will open up the contest email and be giving away some prizes. So, are you ready, sir?
Ready.
All right. Set that timer, Rob. Let's go. Let's do this. Where's the timer, Rob? He's like, it's gone. No, it's there. All right. Would you rather deal with an AI takeover or a zombie apocalypse?
Zombie apocalypse.
Buffalo wings, blue cheese or ranch?
Blue cheese.
Who's your favorite superhero?
Batman.
If you could sit down with one other management team in the AI space, who would it be?
NVIDIA.
Will humans land on Mars in the next 20 years?
Sooner. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Where will the first efficient smart city be?
I believe Singapore.
Singapore. Do people eat or drink soup?
I would drink the soup because I love soup, but people eat soup, man. Eat.
In 40 years, what will people be nostalgic for?
Romance.
All right. Is putting pineapple on pizza a culinary crime?
Heck no.
Oh, sum up the internet in one word.
Growth.
Bonus. Buffalo Bills or Miami Dolphins?
Buffalo Bills.
All right. You did it. 1 minute and 20 seconds. Nice job.
Yay.
Bravo to you. You know what? And so you are a Hawaiian pizza fan, I would take it.
Yeah, with some extra salt. I'm a salty guy.
Yeah, I get yelled at for the salt intake. I actually, at my desk at work, I have a container of salt. I drink a lot of water, though. Hey, guys,
there you
listen.
Go. That balance it.
I'm going to open up the contest. I'm going to be giving away some Buffalo-style prizes. Whoever emails me first at bfccontest@gmail.com. That's bfccontest@gmail.com. And we will see what I send you. Yeah, so I'm just going to let that scroll for a little bit. You did recently have this video out of the drones. You're utilizing
Yes.
the drone space, and this was something that you guys were when we first started talking back in the day. That I asked about. I think I asked about it, or you talked about it, and it looks like you guys are moving forward with that. And I gotta say, like looking at that, do you think at some point, and how long do you think it's going to be where we, instead of taking the taxi, we don't take the taxi, we take the Uber. We're going to take the drone. I mean, what are your thoughts with what you guys are doing with the drones and all that stuff?
Eric, yes, we have launched successfully the Ivda Smart Drone, and it is definitely for industrial and commercial. We are getting some military interest abroad. What makes it unique, Eric, is that it's truly autonomous. It is something that the pilot would set mission parameters, fly here, inspect this, look at this, and the software, the flight software itself will measure wind speed with a ground weather station. It's truly autonomous to where it takes off, knows when to land with enough energy to come back. And this is designed for building inspections, forestry, critical infrastructure, or just crowd loitering day or night. And what makes it, again, highly valuable for even our local communities is that it's not a toy. It's not something that you bust open your iPad and slap it on a remote control and hope to still see where it's flying. This is autonomy at its best, right? And where I was demoing this and showing this off to a bunch of potential partners and customers on that day, you saw that we were sitting at an airport. It is parked at Falcon Field in Mesa, Arizona, inside an airplane hangar. So, it's got an FAA transponder. It's the real deal. So we hope to be working with a lot of fire, police agencies, private enterprises that are doing, cell tower inspections, lots of stuff, a lot of good applications that now with Ivda AI, the video is being recognized in real time for what we train it for. Remember, our drone's not just a drone just because it's backed by Ivda AI. Over video, we can now train, is it a two-way lane? Is it a four-lane highway? What's special? What's not? There's just endless applications. I can't even begin to tell you what the possible applications are. But the interest is there, and why I showed that off, it's real. There's a lot of companies that make certain claims. We will, where we would, mine's flying. So come on by and check it out sometimes.
Wow, unbelievable. I'm rooting for you guys all the way. I think that you're making headway in a lot of spaces. The oil thing, the oil industry, the drones. I honestly, like, one of my next guests is actually in agriculture, and he has something very special lined up that's going to revolutionize the cattle industry. But I could see how that sensor, like, we're talking about silos, we're talking about drums, we're talking about all these things. This could be utilized for so many different industries. That's the beautiful thing, is that this is just like a spider web of opportunity.
What we're doing, Eric. Think about what you're saying, and every time you speak with me and hear about Ivda, it may sound convoluted with so much going on, but remember and remind ourselves. I want to remind all the shareholders, when one speaks of smart cities, and Eric just mentioned from drones to silos to fuel to drones, why are we doing so much here? It may seem like it's scatterbrained, but think about this. Infrastructure throughout and within the city requires data collection. What is Ivda doing right now? We are collecting data through our wonderful sensor technology, IoT. We are processing that data through intelligence, Ivda AI, whether sensor data or video. Now put all of this together into a single platform. That's our cerebral platform. This is what will become the tools of smart cities. So when one says smart city, how, when, with what? There's a lot that we're addressing and answering before you see a smart city. And we are the builders of smart cities. We are the smart city technology company. So you can start putting the dots together, and everything that I'm sharing with you, everything you're reading about us, there's a purpose behind the madness. It's not just pumping out a bunch of technology. You got to have a purpose at the end of the day and consolidate it.
Right on. I do have 2 quick questions before you jet out of here. Literally.
Sure. Yes.
All right. Once AI is almost general intelligence, will any software company really have any relevance because it will become impossibly easy to create or have infinite levels of any kind of software? It's a good question.
That is yes, there's software companies, core software and core technology will always be of relevance. Gen AI is already helping us, and I want to keep this very real. We are costing down our engineering department software outsource thanks to Gen AI, because we're asking Gen AI to repeat and do the repetitive, I wouldn't say repetitive, but the less complicated tasks that it can take care of automatically. And it also can run QA testing on our behalf, right? But you still need the core engineers to truly develop the next level technology. You can ask Gen AI to do that, but it doesn't know why. It doesn't have a purpose, and it doesn't know how to maintain its evolution. It will do it one time, and it's going to sit there, and it's still going to need that software company to develop a core technology with a purpose. So yeah, it's good support, it's good supplemental support, but it's not going to own anything. It can't do it yet.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we need to do a full episode because I have so many follow-ups going on in my head right now. What makes them different from the other companies doing the same thing?
What
This is
makes
good.
Ivda different?
Yeah.
Yeah, so first of all, when one refers to Ivda and the other company doing the same thing, I can sit and have a whole episode with you to compare apples to apples or apples to oranges, and I can run that orientation. So the primary thing is other companies may claim that they can detect objects in video, that they have AI in their video. Well, traditional analytics, you can detect a lot of things. The very big unique factor of Ivda is that Ivda's true deep learning and trainable software is second to none. Now, ask the so-called other companies that if I were to show you a 5-second video, whatever it might be, any object in that video, hint oil spill, an oil spill, Ivda can train to detect oil spill, that puddle, with just one click of a mouse. So how do you compare apples to apples? You got to make sure you're bringing another apple to Ivda before you say, why are we better? Why are they better? The we-they question is very complicated, but once you actually get to know what we do and experience the technology firsthand, then there will be other questions. It wouldn't be how are they different than the other AI companies. Frankly, there's very little AI companies out in the world right now. There's not a lot of us real AI companies out there. And that's a hint, guys. Do careful research.
All right. I have another guest backstage, and I know we are already. I know you guys, you know what? Actually, send me your questions, buffalofiresidechat@gmail.com, and I will forward them to Mr. David Lee, and I will get a response to you guys. So get me your questions. We got to move on to the next guest. Mr. Lee, thank you so much for joining me for this segment. I appreciate it. And you did a great job. You did a great job on the fire round.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Eric, always a pleasure.
All right. Peace out.
Got it, man. Later, brother.
All right. We're going to keep it going. My goodness. Man, nonstop. I hope you guys are having a good night. We still have 2 more guests to get to. This is what we do, First-Hand DD. And let's just get to it. Next up, a man on a mission to save the cattle industry. I'm talking about none other than Mark Walther of Impact Fusion International, ticker IFUS. Let's bring him in. Sir, welcome back to the BFC. How you doing?
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right. So I want to get right into it. Your latest PR, impressive stuff. You know, You're pleased to report that the meeting with several research scientists from Southern University Agriculture and Research Extension Center who visited your facility in Napoleon, just I want to hear it in your own words. How impressed were they with the operation, with the products, with what you guys have going on there? And what does the Ifus shareholder have to look forward to?
Well, number one, what did they feel when they came in? They were blown away. We're doing stuff at our company that, and to be very specific, we're depolymerizing lignin, and lignin is the second most prolific next to crabs and so forth. Their shells. It's the most prolific renewable that is out there, and nobody can do that. Our team, between our science team and the people from Southern, and there'll be others that they're probably the best in the world at depolymerizing lignin. Now, why is that important? That's important because it's basically energy for cattle to eat. So, for instance, I like making things simple for myself because I'm not a real smart guy sometimes. Is I look at what goes into a machine and what comes out, and sometimes it's simple, and in this instance, it's real simple. What you feed your cow, there's no smell. Gosh, does that address what's going on today? And there's no flies. I mean, my God, you ever been around a cow? The flies are so bad, especially around now, that you got to lock yourself in your truck.
Hmm.
And so, what is happening? Well, there's something called furfural, and furfural is a byproduct of lignin, and lignin is what bagasse is filled with. And bagasse, if anybody doesn't know what it is, it's crushed sugar cane, and it's piling up everywhere. It's really a renewable. There are mountains of it, and we've talked about it in the past. So, if you have no smell and you have no flies, won't lay their larvae unless they have lignin or furfural. And so, if there's no furfural and there's no smell, then that means you got really good digestion, probably total digestion. And that's really what's blown these people away. When they first came into the building, when we loaded our big machine for the press, there was steam coming out the top, and it was, going right to the roof. And when it came out as a bale, there was no steam. We took and we completely depolymerized the bale and made it so it was cool to the touch. And if anybody's been around anything that has been breaking down, you have lots of heat, and we take away the heat. So there's one guy that is the lead guy. He's probably been there in the industry for 45 years, and he said he's been working on depolymerizing lignin, and he has yet to find anybody that can, but we can. And so they're in it, and it's a lot of fun. It's a whole lot of fun because we truly have something nobody else has.
You do. And we have a couple questions from the audience. I want to get this in for you.
Sure.
Can you discuss your new relationship with Southern University?
Our relationship is that they're going to come in and they're going to do a whole series of tests that we've all been talking about. They cost millions of dollars, and I'm not saying they're spending millions of dollars, but they're going to run these tests, and they're going to test from our test ranch. They're going to get manure, and as fun a job as that sounds, and they're going to run it through a test lab. And what we have found independently, that there is no lignin left in the manure. So when somebody asks me now, how you doing? Well, we've been talking about number 3 cow pies in our reports. I'll tell them I feel like a number 3. And it's just, it's going really well. And that's what they're going to be testing. We want a nutritionist and the USDA to make us part of their feed ration. And I think that's the direction we're going. Now, they wouldn't do this if they didn't think they could accomplish this. And I think that says it all for them.
That's massive. I mean, people need to understand that. That's a
Mhm.
that's a big goal. And so it's a huge undertaking, and we'll see what happens. We have another question. Mark, can you make your fertilizer SGP available? And I'm not sure fertilizer is the right word, but available to order on your website and your other products. Also, will you be working on possibly modernizing your website? It feels like it's stuck in the past. I know there was another question I had privately that talked about could will you guys work to separate the intact digest stuff from the cattle feed stuff to give it its own life and own own look?
We're doing that now as we speak. And as recently as last night, yesterday, and it's just an ongoing thing. Because I agree, I would like to do that. What I'm trying to do is keep my costs down and drive my costs into revenue producing things. And I know that is a revenue producing thing. And these bottles are fantastic. If you haven't tried one, they're fantastic.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Hey, guys,
work.
I'm going to try this product. I'm actually trying a couple other products right now. And I don't like to merge products when I'm actually doing a product review. So especially when they're different, because things affect you differently. So right now, and you guys have watched the show, I'm doing the hydrogen water. And so now when I'm done with that, I'm actually going to be doing some intact digest. And so I'm going to give you guys an honest review of how it is. And Mark says I'm going to feel pretty damn good. So that I'm excited about.
I'll tell you what, Eric, it also don't leave your dog out of the equation. Don't leave your cat out of the equation. We all spend a lot of money on our dogs and cats, and this will help them with a lot of things because we all have the same problem. It's the food that we eat, and it's absorption. So it's not just what you absorb, it's what you eat. And so we all have dogs that have multiple problems, and you will find that this just gets things back to normal. And I wish I had this a long time ago.
Wow. You have a bunch of questions here, and I had some prepared questions, but there's some great questions here, so I'm just going to keep throwing them at you.
Sure.
Does Ifus have new mulch available for consumers that eliminates fertilizers and pesticides?
Yes. The answer is yes. And we have our scientist that has his own garden. And what I did is, in fact, I was just checking before I called to see where the containers were, but there's two types of containers. I've already got orders for them that I'm going to try to ship it in a 5-gallon green bucket with a lid. And it'll have the material inside so you can try it inside or out. But here's what we're finding. We're finding that everything grows at 3 times the rate. That's what our garden is doing. It doesn't matter if it's vegetables. The roses are 3 times the height. And we grow down here in Louisiana. It's very difficult to grow peaches because bugs love them. And we grow peaches down here on a good day that might be the size of a quarter. But we're growing peaches now the size of your fist. And there's no bugs. And there's no blemishes. And the trees don't have on the sap. Crazy. They don't have any bugs on the sap. And it just, I feel very, very blessed to have that going on. So we have a lot of people, even overseas, that are interested in this. And so it's kind of like you don't want to do it right away, but I got to do it. I got to get it done. I got to offer it. So we offer it in a 5-gallon pail. And all I need somebody to do is send me your address, and I'll send you back an invoice, and you can pay it online. And but I need to know where I'm shipping it. I also have a 250-pound super sack that I can send you. They're not difficult to handle, but if you've got an outdoor garden and you want to use it as mulch, and that's how you use it. You spread it like you would mulch. And that's going to run about $80. But again, I need your address in order to give you an invoice that you can pay. It works.
You are, I mean, this is it. And it's crazy. I had a couple questions. We have a bunch of questions in the chat. And my question is it's merged together. One, what's more like a statement. What you're doing and what you're able to do with this product is freaking huge.
It is.
And I know everybody in the OTC community knows the professor doesn't stop pounding the table on it, which I get. Which and shout out to the professor for always sharing that due diligence in our Discord and many other Discords. But I gotta say, like, it's clear as day, and I think that this study is really going to open up major pathways for the company, and it leads into the next question about revenue. A lot of people were giving me a little bit of grief, like they don't have revenues yet, like their balance sheet isn't solid. So, and you're not working far deep in the red either. But I mean, once this happens and once this takes place, once India, and we're going to talk a little India in a second, how long do you see before we really see that all reflect? Because this is huge stuff. When do we see that reflect on the books?
Well, I can't predict what a customer is going to do, but I can predict what we're capable of producing. So if I had somebody come in and want truckloads today, I could ship it today and we'd be cash flowing positive. So it is a very profitable product. And I've spent a lot of money on developing the machinery to do it. So it could be the next quarter. I can't make those predictions. It's going to be driven by a customer driven base. And if they want it, I got it. I got it. And it's a renewable, and if I may, just it's on the same subject, but what I looked at is that what is the area that I could ship this product? Because it's really important that I ship it competitively. Because anybody that says, well, it's FOB your plant, so customer pays the freight. Well, I'll tell you what, any business I've ever owned in the last 45 years, customers always have to be conscious of freight. So that's when I developed the where we could take a 2,200 pound bale complete, put it in a bag, wrap it up, and put it on a truck and ship 40,000 pounds. Then I realized that no, I can ship 48,000 pounds. That's huge, because before we were only shipping 11,000 pounds. Yeah. And then I ran into a situation. Well, what if I want to ship it rail? Because I've got some big people that are really looking at like big dairies that would be big customers. And so I started looking at rail, and now I've got it. I was always concerned that I got to take it down to a rail spur. I got to load it into a box car, because all the other cars, unless you own them, they're not available. And then I ran into, well, you know what? I could ship this anywhere in North America. And right now the trucking companies will deliver me a container. I can fill the container just as if you were filling a flatbed, and I can ship thousands of pounds on a rail system. And it doesn't have to be just one container. They can bring multiple containers to me, and I can ship it clear across the country for the same price or less as I would ship a flatbed truck. So, for instance, we have one customer that we all figured out that the best place to ship it would be Bakersfield, California. And so, and then the customer is not far from there. But I couldn't believe that opened up a whole nother door for us, that we can ship anywhere. I can ship up into Canada. I can ship anywhere. So it's been a major find for us to be competitive, because again, even though the customer pays the freight, it's still part of the cost of your product. So yeah, and that's how we'll ship the SGP or the Supreme AG, and which is for fertilizer. And there's companies that are as far as Vietnam that are interested in that product.
Well, let's talk overseas for a second. I mean, you posted SGP Plus, India in the house, Napoleonville, Louisiana. So what's going on with India? How's that progressing along? And tell us a little bit.
Well, I got to tell people they're not our partner yet. So, but they're pursuing to be a partner. And when I say partner, they're not going to be part of our company, but they're going to want to buy the machinery and the technology and the Nutramastic and the whole operation. And when that happens, I'll have to go over there to make the deal. But so when we got this material in, what I was trying to show people that it is real. It's not something we're making up. I got these super sacks in, and so there was 2 of them sitting there, and when I got done with them, there's 4, because we changed the whole structure of what's going on. And I've always told them that, or anybody that wants to, and I've had a lot of people look at the process of putting it on their floor or by their sugar mill. You need to try it. You need to see how good this works. If you don't understand the value of this product, then you don't understand what you're getting. And so what I'm waiting for right now, it's done. I got it. It's sitting on my floor, 4 pallets, and it's ready to go. So as soon as they come and get it, and we'll ship it over there, I'll go over there, and I can't see somebody, if you say that, if you go to a customer or a company and you say, tell you what, you don't have to get any more assets, meaning cows, and I can double your production of milk. Would you do it? And the average business would say, hell yeah.
Yeah, they would.
So and that's us.
Well, you do have a lot to bring to the table. I have one more guess, and I want to keep things moving, but I do want to pick 2 more questions from the audience. And let's get to this one right here. Just a quick answer here. What type of nutrient value is left in manure to feed crops? Or is manure now a useless byproduct of cattle production? So I see what he's saying is it keeps the flies away and keeps the bugs away, but is that now useless to the crop?
Well, I had one guy ask me that was actually pelletizing bagasse. And he said, why don't you want to pelletize your bagasse? I said, because when I'm done with it, there's nothing. I mean, it's going to be raked back into the grass like your grandfather used to do. So, but wouldn't you rather have the manure absorbed, all the energy that's in that manure? Wouldn't you rather have it absorbed into the cow, and then the crap ends up being the crap on the ground? Why should it have anything when you've got feedlots that are, in fact, you could smell a feedlot before you see it. But at one time I was driving by a feedlot with my scientists, and I said, what's that cow? What's that bull standing on top of that big black mound? He said, well, that's manure. I said, why would they have that there? Because they put corn in it, because they figure that if the cows have released the manure, that there's energy in there that they can put back in the cow. Well, I said, I don't want that steak. I don't want that.
I don't want that steak either.
You keep it.
But that's the steak that we're getting, folks. That's that's the.
So what I'm looking at is that in how many of these feedlots and so forth throughout the United States that are getting nailed by Greenpeace for polluting rivers and streams and the smell. I've been there, and so there is no lignin left in it. Your ancestors used to rake it back in the grass, and that's what they'll do now. But I'd rather have it in my cow.
Yep. I agree with you. What percentage of customers, this is the last question because I got to get to Mr. Mike Sheik of Bixt. What percentage of customers are returning for SGP once they try it?
Every one of them.
Wow.
Every one of them. If I can lower your cost and I can get rid of expensive material that you're feeding to get protein that ends up being in that cow pie that we were talking about just a few minutes ago, why wouldn't you come back to me? So that's the answer to your question.
It makes sense. Guys, follow Impact Fusion on Twitter. Try out this Impact Digest. I'm gonna try it out. And listen, I shouldn't say anything. Do it at your own risk, but I'm gonna take the risk, and I'm gonna try
the one for the athletes also.
Yeah, and you know what? Hey, we'll do shots of this at the Bills game. No, I'm just kidding. But probably feel better afterwards. But yeah, no, thank you very much for coming on, Mark. It's always good to have you on for an update because I believe in the cause that you're doing. So I wish you all the success, and I'm a shareholder and a proud shareholder, and I think that you guys are going to really make a lot of progress in the next couple months. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back anytime. All right, get this guy out of here. Peace out, man. Next up, let's bring in that hooligan, Mr. Mike Sheik from Bixt. Bring that guy in. Mike, welcome back to the show. How you been?
Oh, really good. Loved that interview on Ifus. I wrote an article on that company a couple years ago. Tremendous potential. Love what he's doing. So
Yeah,
here's a shout out for Mark.
yeah, no, yeah, definitely. I love having them on the show. I think that if they're able to succeed at what they're setting out to do, it's gonna transform, and it's gonna transform the quality of food that we get, from the cattle industry. Now, you've been up to a lot. You've been busy. You've been doing a lot of stuff, and so just for the audience, why don't you give us a high level overview of what Bixt is all about, what you guys are doing, and where you're at?
All right, sounds good. So we're, for the new people out there, we're a clinical stage biotech company. We developed a broad spectrum antiviral that not only works with COVID, but also flu, RSV. Now, what's interesting is in COVID, we got 100%, I'll say that again, responders rate in our phase 2. Now, only 2 clinical trials in the past decade got that high of a responders rate, which means investors need to understand how much that basically eliminates the risk in biotech without reducing the return of biotech. Okay. So now the other thing that's new is that we got a patent pending for 60 other viruses, which means that we literally could be sitting on one of the biggest platform technologies ever. And that gets me excited. Now, the reason we can target so many viruses is because of the drug's mechanism. We discovered that the viruses use galectins to tether to the reception before they do the hard dock and enter the cell. Now, our molecule blocks that galectin interaction, thereby neutralizing the virus. COVID is just one of what we think could be a dozen or more viruses that we're looking to target with our molecules. And now, if that isn't enough of a reason to jump in, right? The founder of galectin science over 30 years ago is also our CEO, it's David Platt. Since his first article in 1992, that science has expanded to like around 4,000 journal articles on galectins and how they're involved in all these chronic diseases and now viruses, we find out. So we got the galectin guy on our team.
Yeah, I gotta say, I thought about this, and this is what I think of. It's like a bank robber, and a bank robber gets on a bus and goes to the bank, robs the bank, and leaves and runs away. What this essentially does is stop that bank robber from getting on that bus. And that's how I view galactin inhibitors. And if you're able to do that, and if you're able to, I'll use the word program per virus or per whatever it is you're curtailing it to, this is like crazy science. This is a revolution to fight the common cold, for crying out loud.
You said it, not me.
That's how I'm taking it. I mean, I can't say am I wrong. I mean, like, that's how I'm looking at it. And so, and I had a Wayward, we were talking about this, and he goes, and he loves a lot of the companies that we cover. But he loves what you talk about, and he says, you know what, that makes sense. What they're doing makes sense. So I also want to talk about this stuff right here. I saw on LinkedIn, you wrote an article. You wrote about bird flu. Now, do you really think? Now, I'm not trying to no scare tactics here. And people like it. They don't want to hear about COVID. Do you really think this could be the next pandemic? I know we've been hearing more about it. So, what do you share with us? Share with us.
It's hard to predict the next pandemic unless you're Bill Gates, right? Sorry to throw Bill under the bus there, but look, it's tough. But bird flu kind of has certain aspects that could allow it to turn into that sort of outbreak. There's like a 50% mortality on that. But And there's a lot in my article in there. But the nice thing about our antiviral discovery method is that we can quickly and efficiently customize a molecule to neutralize a virus using our nuclear magnetic resonance imaging. Now, we did this in COVID and found out that our drug, the prolactin M, actually binds the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein. Okay. Now, just so you know, we're working on getting a peer-reviewed article out there, and published on that topic, and it should be shortly. We'll see. Now, let's say if the next pandemic happens, I think we're really well prepared on the therapeutic front. Now, don't forget one thing, that if it does jump to humans, we already did in vitro studies on H1N1, and we theorized that our molecule can't distinguish between the two viruses, H1N1 and H5N1. So we would definitely want to try our molecule that's already developed first before we want to customize anything new. So with that, I want to really encourage people to read my LinkedIn article if they want to kind of dive into the weeds like I did about the theory or other ways that we can actually protect our food chain. So just give myself my own little plug. Check out that article.
No, absolutely, as you should. You have expressed a little frustration, getting a little ticked off,
Yeah.
At either small pharma or big pharma to connect with you. And I could tell, like, a lot of people that are invested are like, all right, what's got to give? Has there been any, thawing in your discussion with them that you could talk about? Any progress?
Actually, we got something big going on. And here's what it boils down to. We hired a consultant to help us basically refine our pitch and approach these small or big pharmas. Now, the person we hired, in my opinion, has a lot of experience in this space. To give you just some sort of idea, his COVID drug made it to an FDA advisory panel committee meeting, and they got voted down 5-7. But that's really a split decision. But that makes him perfect for us because he got to those final stages. Everyone was expecting an approval, so he got to those final stages of negotiation with all these pharmas before the FDA basically sent them packing and say, "Hey, go redo stuff and get back to us." So we get to capitalize on that experience. And since we've onboarded him, we've actually had a couple of meetings and more scheduled. I was also networking at a recent microcap conference and saw a couple good opportunities out there for partnering as well. So I'm pursuing quite a bit, and we're definitely more active than what we have been in the past in this area. So the frustration level has subsided significantly.
All right. I've been watching, and I'm just gonna. Do I want to go there yet? Nah. Yeah, why not? I've been watching Nanoviscerine.
I know that name.
Yeah. So I've been watching them move up the chart. They're doubling in value. They're going after COVID, HIV, Ebola, shingles, and a bunch of other crap, just like you guys are trying to do as well. What are the differences between NNVC and Bixt in the technology? And when is it going to be time for Bixt? I mean, come on.
Well, I want to be flippant, okay? They got $5 million in cash, and we don't. That's the difference. No, but seriously, they have phase 1 assets.
Do you want me to take down the screenshot? Do you want me to take it down now?
Sure.
There.
They have phase 3 assets, and they have phase 1 assets, and we have phase 3 ready assets. So that's one of the primary difference. Now, both of our companies are conducting clinical trials in India, so that's something that investors may not realize. But in my opinion, we're way further down the development pathway. See, their drug neutralizes the virus with this flexible polymer that's supposed to engulf the virus and neutralize it. That article that you put up there, there's a picture on there, so check it out. Now, our drug works also by neutralizing the virus, but it does it in a different way by attaching to and blocking the galectin fold. This galectin fold is found on the side of the spike protein. So we go in there, and what that does is it doesn't give the virus the ability to tether to these cellular receptors. Now, they're planning to announce their phase 1 clinical trial results, but we are not really sure on the timing of the release yet. But what we do know their molecule is non-toxic, just like ours. So now let's talk about where we're at with the trial results. Their trial results are still in animals, not humans. Okay, and we are measuring in our human trials, we're measuring PCR negativity, and basically how long it takes to make makes the infection go undetectable. Now, in terms of risk, we've demonstrated clinical efficacy and no real toxicity. So that means if you're an investor, until NNPC comes out with those phase 2, and they're still in the phase 1, right? So until they come out to the phase 2, that risk still remains. But I think the biggest difference is the glycovirology platform technology they have. They have a platform technology as well, but we're not only developing broad spectrum antivirals, we have other platform technology. So if let's say this platform technology fails, which is not, okay, we have a backup plan. There's nothing there. It's a binary event. The platform technology works or it doesn't. Now, I think it does, but I think ours does too. One more thing. Once we get one drug approved, we can go after an aggressive label expansion for all these other chronic disease indications.
Wow. And that pretty much plays into what I was saying earlier. And maybe this is a good time to talk about, your other LinkedIn article about cancer. And this is something I brought up a couple episodes ago with you. I read your article, and you really think you got something here. You really think the galectin blockers can take down cancer? I mean, that's a bold statement. Share with us.
The answer is yes. The research shows that one of cancer's biggest defense mechanisms is this galectin shield that basically shrouds the tumor. This connective tissue that's encapsulated the tumor is made of stromal cells. And what they do is they excrete this galectin-3 protein like crazy. And these are basically like nets that go out and stun the army of invading T cells that are basically coming in, and they're programmed to kill the cancer cells. Now, see, these T cells, they basically get covered with this galectin plaque and lose their ability to effectively kill. Now, in my opinion, this is absolutely the missing link and why these new therapies like CAR T cells aren't hitting their mark. Now, in my article, I kind of go over this idea on how I think we can make Keytruda 100% effective in treating cancers. Now, if you're guessing, well, how? Like a combination therapy? Then go read my article and see if you're right. Now, here's the thing. All the dots on how to defeat cancer, they're out there in the public domain, but no one seems to be connecting these dots. That's the problem. And let's face it, there's tens, maybe hundreds of billions of reasons why to keep cancer as a chronic disease. And my theory is to disrupt the status quo. No one wants to hear them. So my shameless plug, again, if you're sick of hearing about cancer, please like and share my LinkedIn article. I think we can stick a fork in cancer once and for all, but we need more awareness. We need people to understand that this is actually a goal that is within our grasp right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane. That's insane. I hope you succeed at it because, cancer is something that touches, millions of people around the world. And it's an awful thing. I've seen people go through it, and it'd be great if we had something to combat it for once, as opposed to like the typical treatments that are out there. I wanted to share this. You had some recent news on shingles, and I'm looking at these before and after pictures like that you showed me, and I'm thinking, and I know people that have had it. It's an awful thing. People suffer with horrible pain. What's the plan here with shingles, and what do you guys have going on?
Well, the first thing that we need to do is that case study is great, but we need to get like a 10-person case study completed. The challenge that we're facing with the shingles is getting the planimetry. So if you go and click that links or whatever, and you look at these things, you're going to see that, you know, we outline the area and we calculate the area reduction in lesion size. So getting good pictures of this infected area at the different time intervals, that's the challenge. Now, if we got a little bit of money, I think we can, you know, a little infusion of moolah, I think we can overcome that. But once we get that case study, I really think we're going to have a bulletproof case to basically partner in dermatology. But I have a caveat here. I want to caution investors, though, because shingles is a little bit tricky on the partnering because it's kind of how the reimbursements are handled. So we may pivot toward other dermatological diseases where galectin-3 is a player. You have, like, for example, atopic dermatitis. It's a $2 billion plus industry with Regeneron's Dupixent. Or what about plaque psoriasis? AbbVie does $2 billion plus a year in Skyrizi in that indication. You heard these commercials on TV. Now, surely there's going to be another big pharma out there that's interested in poaching one or more of these revenue streams with just one drug. So I'm working on more details with my licensing guy with respect to with partnering in the dermatology, but it's going well.
Good. Glad to hear. And I have time for one more question. And this has been a really meaty show, guys. There are two other galectin blocker companies out there. We have Galectin Therapeutics, GALT. They have a $200 million market cap, and Galecto Biotech, GLTO, at $17 million for their market cap. Then there's Bixt with 25 mil market cap. So I have a question. Since you guys are going after the same galectin-3 target, what makes you guys different from the others?
I'd be flipping again. It's like comparing a World War II aircraft to a 5th generation fighter. There's just no comparison. Look, both fighters get the job done, but just one is way more effective than the other. Now, out of the two companies, let's talk about Galt first, because it's important that investors know that our CEO had a hand in the development of their drug. Now, don't believe me. Go do your due diligence. Look at the timeline. Dr. Platt was the co-founder of Galt. End of story. And he left right before the drug was announced. So connect the dots, guys. So basically, you have someone that's intimately familiar with their drug, and he comes to the stage 15 years later, better technology, 3,000 more journal articles on galectin science. Do you really think he made another World War II vintage aircraft? Or you think he went for the 5th generation fighter? Okay. So, but now let me be a little bit more diplomatic about this, okay? I love what they're doing at Galt to prove out the galectin science. But don't think for a minute that this is like a zero-sum game. It's not like they win, we lose, and any of that sort of stuff. It's more like a rising tide is going to lift all ships. You know that saying. So look, we even got a bump when they got a bump in price. And they got a bump because they are doing the interim readout in NASH, I think in Q4 of this year. Now, investors basically bid our stock up because they figured out, well, gee, what's good for Galt is really good for Bioxytran too. Now, belapectin is an intravenous galectin-3 antagonist. Prolectin is an orally taken galectin antagonist. And notice I didn't say galectin-3 antagonist. I didn't put any, I said galectin antagonist. And there's a reason I did that. Simply put, it's our 5th generation fighter capability. Now, their data announcement coming in whenever, hopefully in Q4, I expect it to be really good because it's based on a very thoughtfully and almost bulletproof designed clinical trial. And the science, it backs up that it's going to work in NASH. People are going to be, after this announcement, is what's next in NASH. And let me put it this way. If we have this 5th generation fighter sitting on the tarmac and its job is to go kill COVID, you think someone's going to ask, well, I wonder if it also works on, you know? So just think about that. Now, when it comes to Galecto, it's hard to say what's going on there because they're actually going through an announced restructuring. I talked about them in my LinkedIn article about cancer. All right. They had tremendous cancer data and it basically went ignored. Again, why do we care about that? Is because that positions us really well because our strategy on cancer is get approval in other indications like COVID first and then do the label expansion. Then we're not dealing with the phase 1, issues and stuff like that that slow down cancer development all too often. We have a better way of going after cancer.
Right on. I mean, this was very informative, man. I hope that we do more regular updates. I'd like to have you on regularly, even just if it's a quick 10, 15 minutes. So that way we understand and we're aware of your progress that you're making. You could say pharmaceutical companies are a dime a dozen, but what you are really trying to do in the science that you're bringing to the table can help people in all aspects with flu, cold, cancer. These things touch people's lives a lot. So I want to thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. I look forward to having you back on again. And thank you, sir.
See ya.
Get out of here. All right. Well, that was an informative episode. And I want to thank each and every one of our guests. A special shout out to producer Rob. Hey, it's me, Brian, Godfather Capital, Long Bully Stick, and our newest addition to the BFC Collective Board, Anthony DeVideo. And special thanks to all of you for tuning in. Yeah, speaking of Long Bully, he started making this crazy rumor that I would be releasing the name of the mystery interviewer the Wednesday's mystery interview at the end of tonight's show. Yeah, Long Bully, an interview that him and the BFC team have been working diligently on. And we're putting in a lot of work. There's a ton of work that we put into these shows. And that is for you, the retail and private investor. And it's also to give other companies a platform to share information with investors and the trader community. I think the OTC community is filled with some really genuine people. And I truly believe that there is more that brings us together than sets us apart. There is more that binds us than breaks us. And that's why it's important to share DD and have these communities. And I appreciate every single one of you. But in regards to the mystery interview, I just can't confirm or deny it, but I will leave you with this.
Merge the charts, lay your claim. Turn the page. JFHE, flying to the moon's acclaim. Take the stage, now. Stock ticket in your hand. Seize the day now. You'll be rich on demand. Oh, we can say, come on, cash in, where profits just begun. It's the merger of the century. Make your play now. JFHE to the moon, trust the prophecy. Seal your fate. The stock ticket clutch so tight. Take a chance now. Best investment ever in the neon lights. We'll show you how. Ride the wave. Make the trade. Fortune soar on choices made. Don't listen to the FUD. Hold your head high. Shake it out now. You didn't crime, you arrive on this financial high. Claim the gold now. Parabolic ticker. Watch how it runs. Make the gain now. Gateway to riches for the fearless one. Fun and game now. Stand firm, buy in. Where the brave when the bold has begun.
Have a great night, folks. We'll see you Wednesday.